Blessings everyone, this is Reverend Aphren with the Four Pillars Temple. For those of you who have followed the temple and our YouTube channel know that starting last year, we actually decided to start reading stories for Yuletide. And if any of you know the history, you know that telling stories at this time of year is a tradition. And traditionally, however, a lot of the stories that were told at this time of year were scary stories, stories that you might think of that are Halloween stories, stories that are, of the undead or ghosts and spirits and things of that nature. And so I'm doing things a little bit differently because I'm not telling ghost stories, but what I have decided to do, if you remember from last year, is at this time of year tell a story that is somehow related to this time of year. And so this year I have a new story to tell. If you remember from last year, I read the Tomten. This year I am reading a text called The Shortest Day. So we will read the text together, and then after we're done, there is a little bit of explanation at the end of the story that we will read together as well. So come along with us and let us read a new Yule story. So this year we are reading The Shortest Day, and this is The Shortest Day by Susan Cooper. So come along with me and let us read. The Shortest Day by Susan Cooper and illustrated by Carlson Ellis. You see there are people beginning to pick twigs and firewood for the winter, and you see the sun in the distance. It's beginning to set. So, the shortest day has come. And you can see the people, they're bringing their wood back home to light their homes. And the year has died. You can see the sun is gone now. And everywhere down the centuries of the snow-white world came people singing, dancing to drive the dark away. They lighted candles in the winter trees. They hung their homes with evergreen. See the evergreen on the house right there? They burned beseeching fires all night long to keep the year alive. And there they are burning their fires and dancing. And look, if you look around the text, you'll see there are scary monsters of winter and darkness. And the light is keeping them away. And when the New Year's sunshine blazed awake, they shouted, reveling. And there's the new sun. Through all the frosty ages, you can hear them echoing behind us. Listen. All the people as they give praise to the sun. All the long echoes sing the same delight. This shortest day, as promised, wakens in the sleeping land. And this picture looks a little more modern. You can see there's a telephone pole and a house. Looks like maybe a garage door or something. They carol, feast, give thanks, and dearly love their friends and hope for peace. And so do we here now, this year and every year, welcome Yule. And so here at the back is a little bit of information I'd like to read to you as well. From the very beginning, our lives have been cyclical. At the solstices, the sun reaches its highest and lowest point in our sky, giving us the longest or the shortest day of the year. At the equinoxes, day and night are almost equal. Spring equinox, summer solstice, autumn equinox, winter solstice. Round and round they go. If you live on a planet that cycles the sun, your time is governed by the patterns of light and darkness, summer and winter, warmth and cold, and of course, life and death. Once our forebears learned to farm, they planted and harvested at the equinoxes, but it was the solstices that caught their attention, the extremes. They watched their days shrink from the bright abundance of high summer to the bleak, dark, cold of winter. And they invented rituals to make sure the light would come back again, to bring the new day, the new year, the rebirth of life. The rebirth rituals have become traditions that we still celebrate, whether or not we remember where they came from. Some of them are old, that only their Some of them are so old that only their monuments remain. On the morning of the winter solstice at the great earthwork Newgrange in County Meath, Ireland, the day's beams of sunlight shines in through a passage that Neolithic people built there 5,000 years ago to catch it, and for 17 minutes a dark room deep within is filled with the sunshine of the shortest day. It's a universal impulse, this tradition of a light as a symbol of the continuing of life. The Yule and the evergreen of my poem come from Northern Europe, but the candles in those Christmas trees belong to the same family as the menorah candles of the Hanukkah or the oil lamps of Diwali. Christianity and many other faiths share their intention. They are the lights of hope, reaching for the triumph of good over evil. The shortest day is for everyone. I wrote this poem for the theater, for a joyful celebration of the winter solstice in music, dance, and words that's known as the Christmas Revels. Every year, on Revel stage, in 9 cities across America, an actor steps forward and begins quietly. So the shortest day came. And everybody listening is reminded of that above all they too, at this time of celebration, feast, give thanks, and dearly love their friends and hope for peace. So when the actor reaches the last line, the whole audience repeats after him or her in a great exuberant shout, "Welcome Yule." The Jack of my dedication is the singer-director John Langstaff, and it goes on to talk about the importance of this gentleman and why he is important to this text. So again, Susan Cooper is the one who wrote the text, The Shortest Day. So allow me again to read the poem. So the shortest day came, and everyone died, and the old year died. And everywhere down the centuries of the snow-white world came people singing, dancing, to drive the dark away. They lighted candles in the winter trees, they hung their homes with evergreen, they burned beseeching fires all night long to keep the year alive. And when the New Year's sunshine blazed awake, they shouted, reveling. Through all the frosty ages, you can hear them echoing behind us. Listen. All the long echoes sing the same delight this shortest day. As promise wakens in the sleeping land, they carol, feast, give thanks, and dearly love their friends and hope for peace. And so do we here, now, this year, and every year. Welcome, Yule. And so on this day, this shortest day, I wish each of you warmth, happiness, and health as we move forward through the cold, through the dark half of the year, and into the promise of the coming sun. And so at Yule, we give thanks, and we also give strength to the sun as he begins to grow from that shortest day, as the days grow longer and longer and longer, until finally we reach the sun's peak at the summer solstice. So I thank you all for tuning in this year as we read this poem as adapted into a book, The Shortest Day by Susan Cooper. And I thank you all for tuning in and giving your support to the Four Pillars Temple. And until next year, with our new chosen story, signing off for now.